Well, a week ago we was at Nürburgring with some really good fights in the pro category. Unfortunately, Silver got split up a little bit due to an early contact, George Bart taking the win and the fastest lap by 12 seconds, whereas Jordan Daly and Julian Vanbrugh were fighting it out for quite some time, half of the race at least, and Ralph Hill taking home third place over Huber in the 944 Lamborghini. But well, we're here today at Misano for a very cold early morning qualifying and race with these pro and silver drivers. My name is Ted Edwards, and joining me on the cameras and the microphone tonight is our very own Jesse Lee. How are you doing today, Jesse? And what are you looking forward to in this race?
Hello, Ted. Hello, everybody out there at home as well. And man, you can tell that I'm the one doing the cameras here tonight because of how unprofessional that intro was. I do very much apologize, but it is great to be here. And if there was one race that stood out to me as odd in season number 1 of Night Owl, and Ted will explain why that's important here in the 16th season. If there was one race that stood out to me, it was this race because it was cold, it was dark, it was Misano, and I had never seen that combination prior to this event. Tonight, the very same. But why here in the Ash Bibby Presents Night Owl Season 16 are we talking about Season 1? What's the connection?
Well, it's the first round with the 100th race of Night Owl, Jesse, and I thought for Season 16 we'll do a throwback, if you like, a remaster, or however you want to call it nowadays.
Everybody's remastering their games these days.
They are. So remastered the season. Why not? So yeah, we did round 1. I'm trying to get all the weather settings as I can to 3 years ago. Obviously, the weather's changed throughout the years of ACC and also the tyres. So, for instance, tonight. It's the same time. It's roughly the same weather. The temperature is up a little bit due to our new tyres. I'm not sure how they would handle a 7-degree ambient and a 7-degree track, so I upped it to something. I know it's cold, but still works to an extent. Obviously, this is down to the drivers to set their cars up for these conditions, and it's not easy, Jesse. You want to close your brake ducts a bit, but you don't want to close them too much because then you can overheat the brakes, but you'll still have the cold tyres. So it's going to be a bit of management for these drivers tonight. But yeah, it's gonna be a good show.
It certainly is going to be a very interesting race tonight, all things considered. A lot of drivers have shown up. We've got 28 of them on the track, but perhaps the most important drivers that we have is, we've got Ash Bibby, whose namesake is on the championship, and we've got Jordan Bubbins on the track as well. We have just been told that several of the family members are in chat. That's not strange. What is that I believe some of the children have joined us this evening. Hello to you and future RCI racers, says Allison Bibby as well. Well, hello to you, and I hope that they do you proud tonight. I'm sure they will. Here is Jordan Bubbins, who had initially signed out of the championship and gave in to sign back in. He wasn't going to pass up this opportunity, and here he is in the 65 back again. And of course, the aforementioned Ash Bibby is somewhere in the field. I've lost them. There they are. There is Triple R's Ash Bibby, newly signed driver. As of recently, he's got the Transformers livery on that Triple R number 69, looking very nice.
Yeah, Transformers Bibby in disguise, but we see him right here, so it's not doing a very good job. But yeah, we've got a few new drivers joining us tonight. Les Stevenson has joined us the mid-season side, along with Fox in the 972 Aston Martin, and Kerrigan has joined us in the silver class as well. 3 silver drivers, and then we had 1 pro driver. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Kieran, wasn't it?
It was Oliver Kieran. Join us back in Night Owl in that Kraken Engineering.
I love that Kraken
livery.
Engineering car. I love the silver. It looks so many good liveries. I'm going to say it out loud. Night Owl is the best night for liveries. So many teams show up and show off with their liveries, let alone put on some of the best racing that we have here. But some of these liveries are just absolutely gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, sure. Our curtains is a lovely one. We've got obviously Phil Roberts with Kaji Racing
Who's
going off his
P3
livery.
currently.
He is by only back by 3/10, so he's just in the 33s, 33.932. Vanbrugh leading with Flamger. So McLaren, Lamborghini, McLaren, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Ferrari, and Ferrari. But yeah, we've got obviously Triple R with their liveries made by Harry Conway. We've got Conway's 28, and then we've got Daly's 197, and obviously Ash Bibby's 69. Nice here as well. But we are just over halfway through the qualifying, 50 minutes quali, with 7 minutes and 15 seconds left to go. The track is still a fast track, still the same temperatures as Conway, or 3/100ths of a second behind Vanbrugh now. But will we see Daly get up there? He's almost a second behind. Pretty sure he can get up there because he's fighting with Vanbrugh. We saw it last race. They were bumper to bumper for half the race. Daly could not get past that 87 McLaren.
Couldn't do it. Tried their absolute best, but it wasn't on in the end. And that's sort of the glorious part of racing, the frustrating part about racing. But it's fascinating to us to see two tacticians go at it for that length of time, try and find the crack in the armor, and that perseverance, there's something to be said about that. Kellen Kerrigan does improve on that lap. They go to the top of the heap in the silver class. Two different classes here tonight. You got Pro, as indicated by the white number background, silver with the, well, you guessed it, the silver number background. And that's how the two classes stack up. They're fighting for individual glory in those classes here in Night Out Season 16, presented by Ash Bibby. Well, we've been told by Allison that Anya Bibby is watching here tonight. That is Ash's daughter, as I understand. I've never been put in that position personally, but I can't imagine that that's anything other than a lot of pressure on a dad.
Yeah, it's I think anyone watching you is a bit of pressure. There he is in his Triple R Transformers car, sitting down there in 20th place, and not too bad. 6th in silver at the moment, ahead of a one silver Reinhard. Also, I forgot, Kevin Boss is joining us tonight in the silver class. Where is he? Is he? Yeah, there he is. We're watching him. I couldn't see him because we're watching him, Jesse. I am that blind. He's in the Porsche, which is, you said, was very odd. You've driven with Kevin Boss in a Lamborghini, and I think he's drove the Honda before. Man. But yeah, he's the weirdly slow racing team in the Porsche today with a nice livery.
So some race teams have a little bit of a shtick to them, and Wheelie Slow's one of them. Kevin Boss will on purpose take cars that are not necessarily, we'll just call it esports viable. We'll be nice and call it that. He picks oddball cars for the fun of it. He likes to have fun with the sim racing, and you can hardly blame him, as George Barr is about to improve here by just about 2/10. That was a quarter of a second improvement, 34.677 there. But back to Kevin Boss. He likes to pick strange cars. This is weird because he's picked a car that is incredibly viable, that Porsche. I think that's the 992 variant as well. The thing about it is, and here's the Wheelie Slow part, he's never driven it. So he's literally coming out tonight trying to learn that race car, a car that he has almost no seat time in. And he's going to do it here in Night Out, in the dark, in the cold track conditions as well, which we haven't really mentioned. The Season 16 representing the original season, a throwback, right? But the weather was cold. It was actually colder than it is tonight, but you've taken slight pity on them and warmed it up just a little bit compared to that first championship series here.
Yeah, I did, because I was speaking to Daly about tyres and stuff, and he had a good point of, I'm not sure about obviously the newer tyre model that we have compared to 3 years ago. Can it handle that low pressures without being too much of a pain? Obviously, the grip in the tyres is different. How they've warmed up is totally different. So I opted just to knock it up a bit so they enjoyed the race, as painful as Night Owl can be sometimes for the drivers, which they do complain, but then they understand this is, they say, for, as Timothy Flanagan said earlier on, for the means and a laugh. So some of them do enjoy it, some of them are not too pleased. I know Tom Roberts is not too pleased tonight. I think he's in the Aston Martin.
Roberts is back in the field tonight after
a
1-week absence.
He
My goodness.
he said I believe he said that he almost forget. He said I totally didn't cock up my schedule and not realise that there was a race tonight. So I think he's jumped into the practice server, well the practice session on this race server, and hasn't really got much seat time on these conditions, so I think he's going to struggle a little bit tonight, but we just have to wait and see. Obviously anything can happen in the race, anything can happen in the qualifying, and Daly has not moved yet. Bamber's gone faster with a 1:33.565, not too far behind is Conway still with his lap time. He's 9/100ths of a second back in the Ferrari, but now we've got McLaren, Ferrari, Lamborghini. So it's getting close. Phil Roberts is not too far back either, 3 to 4 tenths back, but it's pretty split tonight in this race test.
Sure is. That was an improvement for Kierton, a 34.222. That doesn't improve their position. It does get them closer on time to the cars they're chasing, however. George Barr for BDG Sim Racing, looking to do the very same. In fact, has invalidated off of the final turn, so that will not be an improvement for them. Pastuska here looking to improve coming through the final section. They've lost a great deal of time. They carried it down the back straight and the dog leg, but they've lost it here in the final couple of corners, and it's going to be just about even on the delta, trending negative as they come across the line. In fact, that was about 1/10 off of their quickest time. 1 minute left in qualifying. All laps that are started before that timer hits 0, as long as it's a valid lap, you are allowed to finish that. The session will not just automatically end. I'm looking at you, Forza Motorsport. So you can still finish up your laps. Now, this is an interesting situation. Olivier Kierton is hooked onto the back of a BMW. And for Kraken Engineering, that's quite interesting because that was an extra toe down the straight, and now getting out of the way is the 903. Is that Adna Pusita in the 903? I reckon it might be. But Kierton's still up on the lap time, 1/4 of a second. This will be huge for them. This would catapult them somewhere vaguely near the top 5 for Kraken Engineering. Has he held it? Most of it anyway, and that is a top 5 for the 111 of Olivier Kierton, and they're going to call their qualifying there. Now, that is not how you want to take turn number 1 and 2, but he has done. He's just trying to get out of the way. For anyone that thinks that looks particularly odd, it was, but that's just him getting out of the way and returning down to the pit lane. A bunch of cars in the lane already. They're take no further part or have invalidated. A couple still attempting to improve, like Matthew Malcolm, who goes to P5 for Malk Racing in the 199. A 34.037 puts them in 5th. A couple of cars, of course, still yet to cross the line. The Mike Racing Not Sheep, or the Mike NS Racing car, looking good, over 1.5 tenths to the good, trending in the right direction here.
Sure is, and just looking at, I think, 2 of the times there, Patuska and Huel with the same lap time, 1:34.102, which I did notice, and I thought he was going to improve, and then he went off on the exit of this final corner. Can Redford improve? He is up on his delta slightly. He gained out the final corner. Where is he going to land himself? A 5th place, Jesse. Very nice drive by Mr. Redford there.
Yep, very nice improvement for Redford, as everybody fighting over a top 5 spot. That will conclude qualifying for the evening. And here are the results of that qualifying session. Hotly contested, I might add. Timothy Flamger eventually takes the pole position, and I say eventually because there were 3 or 4 drivers vying for that, of course. The quickest first sector of all, and a final time of a 33.4 5.2 in these weather conditions. Julian Vanbrugh, P2, the quickest third sector of all. That's what the magenta sector time means, of course. They were able to amass a 33.567, the better part of 1/10 off of the overall pace. Harry Conway in his return. He's back home safely from Americas, and he is back on the track. He'll start in the third place position on the second row with Kaiju's Phil Roberts. Redford, Malcolm, Kirton, Pastuska, Huell, Hobson, your top 10. And outside of the pro category, here's how it stacked up in the silver class. George Barr for BDG Sim Racing getting it done there. 34.677 beats Callum Kerrigan. I almost said Kirton there. I do apologize. Beats Kerrigan to pole. Les Stevenson, Pusina, your next row. Kaneko, Fox Boss, Bibby, Kettle, Roberts, Ireland, and Bubbins, your qualifiers in the silver class.
Gordon Bubbins doing a very nice time there, to be fair. Especially you got to remember, this is his first season. He joined, I think, midway through. For the last round, it was at the Nürburgring he joined us, and that was wet. He's not really driven in the wet. It's cold, really cold here. He's not really driven in the cold, so he's doing very well. He's only 2 seconds off the next silver, which is very good, to be fair. If it was me when I was first starting, I would have been way off the end of the pack. But
I think
we. Don't say that, Jesse. But I think we have some standings to have a look at. And here they are, the pro category. Jordan Daly leading with 104 points, a 5-point gap towards Timothy Flamger, the guy who is on pole position tonight with 99 points in second. Ralph Huell in third in the Porsche with 68 points, followed by Mike Redford, in fourth place with 60, joint with Harry Conway. That's going to be a nice fight to see on the points. Julian Vanbrugh almost joins them with 2 points by on 58 in sixth. Justin Madley in seventh with 43. Phil Roberts with 39 in eighth. Joe Dolwer in ninth. Sorry, I'm losing my track. With 32, joined with Alan Asprey with 32. So there's 2 there in the top 10 joint on points. As we go over to the next screen. 3 drivers join with 30 points, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Tyler Hobson, MO Plate, and Roman Frowler. Seeing nice 30 points there. Herbert Pastuska in 14th with 26. Matthew Malcolm with 23 and 15th. Mark Reinhard in 16th with 17th. And I'm going to try and pronounce this name. With a 41 and 17th, Ilan Venzil with 0 points joined us mid-season. Oliver Curtin with the triple one in 18th has joined us as well. And everyone else with the dash has signed out of the championship. Jesse, would you like to do the silvers?
Sure can. It'd be my pleasure. George Barr's on pole position, and he has sole position of first place in the silver champ, 123 points there. Adna Pusina in second place with 83 to their name. Tim Ireland in third on 72 points currently. Masatoshi Kaneko on 68, just a few in front of Lee Kettle, also of BDG, of course. That's your top 5. Just outside of that, Tom Roberts, who's won a race this season, on 63. Ash Bibby with 37 points. Richard Hutchins on 26. Jordan Bubbins and Kevin Boss don't have championship points currently, but they're alive in this championship and are in the race today. The same can be said for Callum Kerrigan, Fox, and Les Stevenson. And as Mr. Edwards said, anybody with a dash has retired from the championship. Well.
Oh,
we went for the same thing there.
We are synced tonight.
What is with us? We're absolutely synced tonight. Well, I will say there's a lot on the line here tonight. There's 28 cars, 27 now. One has bailed post-qualifying. I think that probably, in all likelihood, is some sort of game connection-based issue, if I'm completely honest with you. But beyond that, we have so many cars in the field tonight. Misano is a tight track most of the time. What kind of race do you expect, Ted? I know you've raced here a bunch over the years. So what are you expecting to get out of this race?
Well, yeah, it's going to be a tricky one because I haven't seen these cold temperatures in a while, especially in the dark. It doesn't help. Cold temperatures when it's sunny isn't too bad because the ambient and the track is a different temperature. But when it's like this, it's a bit different. But I think we're going to see some good fights tonight. I think we got 3 more silver drivers, 3 or 4 more silver drivers joined us, so it's going to be a nice fight there. Obviously, last week we on lap 1, I think like turn 5, I think it was, we had a few cars come together in the silver class, and they spread out during the rest of the race, so it was more focused on the pros. But hopefully tonight we do see some fighting, especially with Kerrigan and Stevenson in here. Right, they might challenge George Barr to a good old fight in the 212 McLaren. That'd be nice to see. But I think Vanbrugh is going to challenge Flamgood tonight. Flamgood doesn't get the damage. He got damage last week. He got, I think it was a lot of rear damage, so he dropped off on his pace. But I think it's going to be, it could be a 5-way fight if Redford can keep his pace in there. We seen his pace on Wednesday, and he did very well in the Wednesday GT4 champ. So just have to see how it is. Obviously, they weren't too far off each other in the qualifying. Obviously, Flamger and Vanbrugh were pretty far ahead of the rest of the field. But obviously, that's just qualifying. That's one lap sprint, if you like. Whereas race pace is different, especially with the pit stop requirements we have tonight, which some drivers, I'm not sure if they're gonna love, because it's not hot. But I will tell you when we get the formation lap going in 50 seconds time. But it is an interesting one, and obviously we say it's a remaster from season 1. That's only the time of day, the track, the time of day, and the temperature. That we didn't really have pit requirements back in season 1. I think that was more of like a season 4 or 5, so it's a little bit further along, and there's that gap there, and that was Joe Dolber. He's starting from the back in the 488 Ferrari, the old Ferrari. Ash Bibby is also right at the back now, in 28th behind Dolber, so I'm not really sure what has happened with Bibby there. So that's very unfortunate. Bibby was pretty far out. He 22nd place, so he's dropped to 28th. That is pretty confusing.
It is very interesting. I'm not sure exactly what's happened. You'll notice that there is a gap on the grid from where there should be a car's dropped to the back. It might be multiple cars that have dropped to the back at one time or another, but these are the scenes from Misano. Just about 3:30 in the morning here. Not the most optimal time to start a race, I can assure you of that, but, well, when drivers are called upon, they will race. Doesn't matter what time of day it is. They definitely relish an opportunity to race at odd times, most of them. It's sort of a novelty, if you will, but some of it is also curiosity, and the darkness here is a little bit more different than some of the other tracks. There is flood lighting, as you can clearly see, but it's not nearly as powerful, and it's not nearly as, I would say, plentiful as it is for some racetracks here. Some of these corners not lit at all. Some of the straightaways are lit quite nicely. The stands, in some instances, are the things that are lit generally the most. I got a question for you, Ted. We got Timothy Flamger up front, and we've got Vanbrugh. Behind them, you've got Conway. You've got your championship leader all the way down in 12th position. What's Daly's strategy here tonight? He comes in the championship leader. He has the most to lose. You're starting deep in the field. What do you got to do in this situation? Do you go for it, or are you a little bit more reserved than you otherwise would be?
If it was me, I'd be chilling out, knowing what the pit stop requirements are, which 1 minute's time I will tell you. But he's so far back, and he's got that's a lot of points lost if he finishes there. If he tries to go for it, I think Daly's just gonna go for it. It's Daly. We know what he's like. He'll try and send it on people. He is a lot faster than the people in front of him. I think he's just had a bad qualifying. He said his practice was fine, but that qualifying
was. He was fighting inside the top 3 or 4 all in practice. Yeah.
He sent me a quick DM saying, I'm not sure what happened. What has happened with the car, but the practice was fine. The qualifying was a shocker. So Pretty sure he can get up there. He needs to get his race pace on point, and I would say not try and fight with people too much, but it's Daly. He's going to try and get his way past. But yeah, it's going to be a crazy pit stop. As you can see, there is a 2 next to their names instead of a 1, so it is a 2 pit stop requirement tonight. But as they come up to the final corner, I will we'll watch the first few laps, and then I'm just teasing you at I'm just gonna wait it out a little bit longer.
Well, here it is. Timothy Flamger will lead them to the green. Alpha Sim Sport and Julian Vanber, your front row. Turns 1, 2, and 3 can be messy around this place. The green flag is down. 1 hour of racing here in Night Owl Season 16, presented by Ash Bibby. It's been a decent enough start up at the front of the field. No major dramas as they go 3 wide further back in the field. They just about figured that out as well as they get down to at least 2x2. No major incidents through the first couple of corners. Timothy Flamger away cleanly. Just about everybody away cleanly, barring minor bumps here. Oh, I've spoken too soon. Right near the back of the grid, 1 car has gone off. 2 cars have gone off. The 69 of Alan Bibby, or Alan Asprey rather, has had some sort of issue with Ash Bibby at the back. That was a tongue twister for me, but these 2 cars have found themselves in some drama, but they've been able to recover quite nicely. In fact, they haven't even lost the back of the field yet.
Yeah, that is something you don't really want to happen on lap 1, where you lose the rear end of the field, because obviously you're going to lose a toe. But we haven't had a change for the lead. Julian Vanbrugh took Timmy Flamger round the outside in T1, so he is in the lead and will control the pace of this race. Obviously, the tyres are going to be still a bit cool, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers cope for the first 10 or so minutes of this race. But yeah, the pit stop before, I think we see the replay. Well, there you go. The pit is open. It is a 2 pit stop requirement with tire change on both stops, a litre of fuel on both stops, and a 57-minute pit window. So just gonna have to see how people do this. Normally they'll do it in thirds because that's the most efficient way of doing it, and probably taking 2 lots of fuel. You take the first lot on the start, and then you'll pit for 2 more. Whereas,
I'm sorry, what did you say the pit requirement is?
2 pit requirements: a litre of fuel and tyres.
So they got to pit twice. They do indeed have to do
yes.
that. Caution's out for Jordan Daly, who's had an incident in turn number 1.
I think that might be a retirement.
Something has happened there. Let's see if we can't figure out what's happened here to Jordan Daly. This is your championship leader. He's just parked it. Something has happened to the 197, I would have to imagine. That is mechanical in nature. That is so strange to just pull off the racetrack like that. Normally you see a car spun out. That's not what's happened here to the 190. In fact, they haven't pulled off.
Yeah, it's mechanical. He just moved around the corner.
He's still sitting here. Now he's on the, you're right, he's on the exit of turn number 4. And now
there you go.
He's been forced to retire the car. Something completely horrific has happened there, mechanic-wise. With the 197 Triple R car, your championship leader, folks, has completed 1 lap and has retired from the race.
We have another crash. Yes.
Vinzel, driving the K-Pax liveried car, has had some issue of their own, and it's taken them quite a long time to recover from it. Let's see what's happened here. They seem to be in space here for the time being. Ooh. Was that the wheelie slow car?
It was.
Contact there with Kevin Boss in the wheelie slow car. Sent Vinzel around. They're able to.
So
you can see Crash. His name's Crashneck, by the way, over on Twitch. But so we call him Kevin Boss, of course. He was trying to give that position back. He continued 2 corners later to try and give that position back. It was a long recovery for Vinzel, as you would imagine, after being sent to somewhere vaguely near the Shadow Realm. Lee Kettle has had an incident here as well as they attempt to rejoin the racetrack. They do without further incident. What's happened to Kettle?
it looks like it's going to be on his own. He has done a pit stop, Jesse. Just want to point that out there. Did not take tyres, or maybe not taken the fuel. So I don't think he knew about you have to take fuel and tyres at both stops. Or he's just gone too fast. Just doesn't brake.
Man.
Luckily the gravel's there to save him from going into the barrier. But yeah, he's still got a 2 next to his name, whereas Masatoshi Kaneko has done one of theirs. They jumped straight in. So that's very confusing, but maybe not know they have to take both.
Yeah.
The 944 is now going slowly as well. That is Pastushka, who was fighting for 4th place last race.
He's coming into the pit lane, so something's happened there to Hubert Pastuska's car, AGS Events car. They'll bring that to pit lane. Now, the silver lining here is they can do their one of their 2 mandatory pit stops. Jordan Daly has reconnected, so we still have all 28 of our cars. The other car that was in whenever Lee Kettle was in at the end of lap number 1 was this one, the Sanduck Porsche of Masatoshi Kaneko. This has huge championship implications for the Japanese driver, as well as we showed you they were well up in the silver standings. So unfortunate first lap for several of the drivers. What we can tell you is this man, Julian Vanbrugh for Team Spin, or Team Spain without the A, depending on how you want to say it. They've taken the lead straight away off the initial start. Timothy Flamger in P2 has not lost contact with them. Phil Roberts in 3rd. Harry Conway in 4th place. Mike Redford, your top 5. Behind them, Malcolm Hobson, Huell, Kierton, and Frawler. George Barr has maintained the lead in the silver class over Callum Kerrigan. Les Stevenson up to P3. Adna Pusina, who very kindly came in after qualifying and confirmed that I was correct, that he was from Bosnia and Herzegovina. I saw the flag. I assumed that was Bosnia and Herzegovina, but I wasn't entirely sure. But thank you, Adna, for confirming that. I do enjoy. We're called Racing Club International, folks, and we mean that. We genuinely mean that. We've got folks from all over, and we prefer it that way. It's the spice of life variety.
Well, Lee Kettle's back down pit lane. Oliver Curtin, the first one for the pros, is down as well. I lie, no, Suska did come down. I'm in the DMs with Daly at this moment in time. He is coming back out on track. Probably not gonna.
Here he is.
I think he's like 3 laps down or so. So
I just wonder what. It was obviously a mechanical issue.
I know what happened.
What? Okay, to fill us in, war correspondent Ted Edwards.
So he wondered why Huell was catching him on the straight and why he was slow in qualifying.
Oh,
he didn't have full throttle.
Oh, he didn't have full throttle travel in the pedal.
And he didn't. I don't think he noticed it in qualifying, but that makes that. Let me get my words out my mouth, Jesse Lee. It's I'm struggling tonight, but that's why he was a second off. That's why that makes total sense to why, you know, John Daly, one of our fastest drivers in Night Owl, and you know, going for his 3rd Night Owl championship, is you know, a bit confused. George Barr, first and silver, to come in from 1st place.
I love the strat.
Takes
I love the
over.
strat.
Yeah,
they're not expecting
different.
it. They're definitely not expecting the leader to come in early. They expect them to come in sort of break the race up into thirds or go as long as possible. George Barr doing the opposite of that. I wonder how many more silver drivers this might pull down pit lane, considering they have to do 2 mandatory stops tonight. Callum Kerrigan in the 280 takes the lead in that class. But I like this from George. This is contrarian strategy at its best. He was in a position that he could dictate how the pit stops go in this race, and I wonder, will the other drivers bite? I suspect at least some of them will do.
Yeah, well, it's like I was saying, it's not hot enough for ambient or track to make it a difference with the tyre wear. Obviously, colder it will help with the graining and stuff, because it's not gonna be as bad, but you just have to wait and see. Lee Kettle was back down pit lane again, Jesse, and he has gone back out on track, right?
Sure has.
Yeah, he
Here's
stopped
Lee
again.
Kettle
That's the
back
third
down
pit
the
stop.
pit lane. Well, keep in mind, none of them are valid. He's done a bunch
No.
of stops, but not a single one of them's valid. He's still trying to figure out how to set a valid pit stop, apparently. And I would imagine there's something going on with that car. And speaking of, this was at the very start of the race, and
Oh yeah.
this is when they were 2 and 3 wide. Lee Kettle's in there somewhere, I can assure you. And this is where it all sort of kicked off initially, though I didn't see major contact there. Some perhaps, but not major contact. What about this one? Also with Lee Kettle. Now, this might be
This is
where
Lee Kettle and an Ash.
Oh,
Oh, hello.
Oh my goodness, going
That
bowling.
was.
That was a certified strike.
Who was that?
Well, that was the 100 car was also involved. That Alan Astbury.
Alan Asprey.
Yep.
That was.
don't know which
Oh,
one was
oh
which.
no. Lee Kettle, stop and go 30 for speed. Major speeding in the pit lane. He is not having a very good race. Only 11 minutes in, and 3 pit stops, and now a stop and go 30 is. And he's the last pit stop was valid, but now he has to come back in within 3 laps, or he will be disqualified from the race. 41 and 65 are in the pit lane. But yeah, that's
something's up with that
that's
car. It's not driving right. I don't know what's going on with the 962, but there's something going on there. There was something going on at the start of the race, going on between Tom Roberts and Kevin Boss. Let's flash you back to that, show you what may have happened between these two drivers. Oh, this is just part of this. Yeah, Tom Roberts into the back of Boss, nowhere to go. No harm, no foul there, in my opinion, though I have been wrong before. A lot of other contacts. We saw the 41 of Van Zilt go off earlier. Is this the same replay as before? Nope, this looks like a completely different incident for the 41. Oh, a little bit of rubbing there off of the corner where everybody comes back together. And Masatoshi's had a rough start. We documented that. Here's some more of that. Ooh. I believe they get a piece of this as everybody scrambles after the initial incident. Yeah, Masatoshi gets sent off the racetrack there just a little bit.
Well, I got to say, Jesse, we've seen some bowling, if you like, in RCI in the different championships we've had, and I got to say, I'm thankful this is a simulator and not an actual real life race, because you know, for the driver's safety, you know, these cars, real life cars, are safe as they are, but fight for the lead in the pro category. Flamger coming back over Vanbrugh. Flamger and Vanbrugh, that's going to get my tongue twisters going tonight. 3 seconds ahead of Conway, so they've got a bit of a gap, not too big though, so it is a fight. Vanbrugh still stays ahead of Flamger, so it'll be interesting.
That one absolutely snuck up on me, Ted, because I know the gap was coming down. I was monitoring it, and then it all evaporated. Unfortunately, I believe Julian Vanbrugh made a mistake there in the penultimate corner of the racetrack that allowed Flamger to catch all the way back up and indeed get beside him. Excellent driving kept him from making the pass, but he's there now. Are the tires starting to go away from Julian Vanbrugh? Timothy Flamger goes the long way in the Alpha Sim Sport car and retakes the lead. That was incredible. Let's see that again.
Oh, this is very interesting. I'll get back to what I'm about to say in a minute, but this is crazy racing already. He's still got 2 pit stops to do.
Oh, look at that. They didn't touch. I just want to make that very clear. They did not touch.
Vanbrugh could see the Lamborghini was there. Obviously, there's Helicorsa in the sim, which is the little box that tells you when another car's next to you. It will show like another icon of a block, like a little rectangle. And it'll be yellow when it's close and red when it's really close. So very nice driving by them. But look, Colemay's a second behind now from 3.8 seconds, I think it was. He is catching, but I think, Jesse, Vanbrugh been doing some driver 61. Have you ever heard about them before?
Yeah, I sure have. If you're looking to brush up on your racing skills, or maybe just get some tips from the top people in the business, Driver 61 is the best place to go. They offer one-on-one driver coaching and full-on racing schools, and some of these drivers up at the sharp end of this field have definitely been working on their technique. Some excellent racing thus far in tonight's race. One move by Vanbrugh to take the lead, and the move by Flamger to retake it cleanly, I might add. Excellent job by them, and certainly that's something Driver 61 can help you with. Visit the link in the description to get some driver coaching today. It definitely works. I've had hands-on experience with drivers who I've raced with before using Driver 61's driver coaching, and after, I can guarantee you they were faster. After the fact, they stopped making mistakes, massive mistakes in races, and started winning races.
I have noticed something, Jesse. Well, before we switch over to the leaders in pro fighting with each other. No.
That's what the car says, sir.
It does. Kerrigan let Stevenson through for the lead in silver. If you know where Kerrigan is, yes, he's in the pit, but I don't know if you've got it in a replay. There was no contact. I have found a replay going through the double right-hander in the just at the end of sector 1. Kerrigan loses the rear end and goes into the barrier.
Oh wow, Callum Kerrigan has put the car in the wall apparently. I do not have anything on the 280, but you know what I do have from earlier on in the race? There was contact between what appears to be Kevin Boss and Vinzel. Let's show this. This back on lap number 2, I think. Oh, that we've seen this. This is where Kevin Boss Porsches himself and sends that car to a completely different postcode. Tyler Hobson in the 944 here. It's going to be minor contact here, I suspect, between the two of them.
USA?
Well, maybe not at all in that case. Hobson in the pit lane doing work on the car. Immediately after that, something happened to happened to Pastuska again. So this is the that's a different angle of it.
Curtin gets a little bit hooked up with the Ferrari. Unfortunately, nothing really the Ferrari could do there. A load of pit stops happening. Jordan Daly's in the pit lane from 28th. Kevin Boss is in the silver class. Alan Asprey's in. Hobson is in. Vanbrugh did do a pit stop. Yes.
Sure is.
I'm glad you saw that one as well, Jesse. So maybe stop fighting with Flamger, which is a good strategy to do. You don't want to be fighting too much. You're going to let the guys behind catch up, which did happen. Conway's only 1.5 seconds behind Flamger. Roberts about 1.5 to 2 seconds behind Conway. There you can see at the top left of the screen that is the deltas between each of the cars, not from the car to the leader, but from each. Ooh, Tim and Ash.
Was that a second week in a row with contact between Tim Ireland and Ash Bibby? And in fact, it was. And we'll have a better replay of that in just a moment. Here it is, folks. Ooh. This is the contact between Tim Ireland and Ash Bibby. What's happened here?
It was Ash. It was Ash this time round.
Oh, my goodness. It was... that was the second or third time tonight we've seen a car outbrake themselves.
They're both in the pit lane to do
I felt like Ash came off worst on that one. Tim Ireland still won't appreciate it, of course.
But Ash is only there. Ash is that yellow car behind, so doesn't lose too much
both come in.
time. Whereas Reinhard in the 17 McLaren, not McLaren, Mercedes, God, we don't see many Mercedes these days, can you tell? Got drive-through for track limit, I did see, so there is no life stewarding for this season now, unfortunately. You can become a steward by
Look at this! Look at the leaders coming
our
in!
Discord. Here's Conway. Conway's saying, "Hi Flamger, I am now in this fight. Do you want to boogie?"
Look how much Harry Conway closed up. You were talking about the gap being 3 seconds and down to 1 second and some change. That is virtually no gap there. Oh, a little mistake by Conway getting into the box. Wasn't on the board. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. Vanberg came in a lap or so ago. Roman Frawler, Les Stevenson also into the pit lane. Keep in mind, they've got to make 2 stops. So if this seems odd to you at home that they're coming in so early, it's because they're cutting the race into thirds, which is the usual strategy in this case, the common strategy, if you will. All these cars completing their stops. I did catch Olivia Kirton had an incident back on lap number 3. Was this them being a part of this? Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Kirton just got a tiny piece of that, and that's what triggered that replay. Hobson and Huell fought it out for what was about 13th place at the time.
Ooh, almost going 3 wide there with Curtin in the background. Same corner as we've seen
next lap, in
times.
fact. Now that wasn't a whole lot going on there, to be completely honest with you.
Just looking at Bibby and Ireland, they're 5 seconds apart or so. Bibby crosses the timing line. Somewhere I can't see it at the moment. There's Lee Kettle coming up. Oh, is that Pusina?
No, that's Roman Frawler that made
contact. Is that Frawler?
There.
That's a bit of, yeah. Well, that does go onto the racing line. You can go wide there. Some people stay tight. It depends on the car. It depends how it handles. Here's Wenzel on Boss, going for the inside line. Almost makes it work. It's still 2 wide as they do get the inside line now and do pass Porsche. Yeah, Bibby and Ireland 5.3 seconds apart. Their pit stop time was about the same. Tom Roberts is in as well with Fox coming down for Fox GB. Both the Aston Martins actually, which is nice to see some Astons back in Night Owl and RCI in a whole. Because
I don't suppose GB stands for good beans, does it?
I don't think.
I said that specifically to upset the British. I did that on purpose. I'm an American. My entire identity is upsetting the British. I obviously know it stands for Great Britain. And you know what the greatest thing about Britain is? It's so great. Little old world humor for you right there. Robertson, Reinhard still to the attention of their teams. Fox as well. And that has given the lead to Kaiju's on Phil Roberts, who has immediately ruined me and come down pit lane. The Welshman led for a lap and is now down the lane. Mike Redford has also agreed that now is the correct time to come into pit lane, as so Matthew Malcolm, who joined us in chat earlier. And I do believe Malcolm said that last time I asked you not to curse me and I won my class, please do whatever you did on Monday. You got it, pal. I'm right there with you, buddy. I will not curse you on this occasion. Joe Dalber also in the lane. Now, that concludes the first cycle of pit stops. What we expect to see now, right, is 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes of running, and then the second pit stop. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, you would say that, but Adnan Piscina, that being to be there, 903, is now doing their second pit stop, Jesse.
Of course. So why would they do what I think they're going to do?
Well, there you go. Redford's shut down Jesse, and now Piscina's shut down Jesse's.
Thank you, Mike Redford. Thank you, Adna. Appreciate that very much.
Well, there you go. Adna is now off. They just need to do 36 minutes, 50 seconds on these tyres, and hopefully enough fuel.
Most importantly, no penalties on pit lane. We've seen a few of those already.
We have, and this pit exit is a very, very long pit exit. They have to go around a little right-hand corner, and then there's the light, and there's the board line, and there they can go. And then that's when you find out you've got a penalty for speeding in pit lane.
Oh, near contact there. Is that the Kraken Engineering car of Kirton? I think it may be, but we already saw contact earlier on between the 962 and the 6 of Frawler, exactly like that. The pit exit, as long as it is, does not flatter the racetrack. The drivers on the racing surface end up in your lap sometimes whenever you are exiting pit lane. One final replay that I've got from the field. This is the 972 of Fox, and I believe this is Ash Bibby.
It's
Wait,
Tim Ireland.
That's Tim Ireland. That's
Oh,
interesting.
Tim's pushing, and again.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
That was Tim Ireland in that
yeah.
in the Night Owl comic book looking car. Quite nice. I guess you could call it, technically it's a throwback. Do you know what Tim Ireland's livery is based on? If I show you the car, do you reckon, of course it's dark, I will concede that, but do you have any idea what that's based on?
Well, I've already seen it from being in the Night Owl chat in our Discord. From a Lamborghini.
It is. It's from an IMSA Lamborghini, more specifically. So if you're looking at that car going, that looks familiar from something I've seen just a few years ago. That is from an IMSA Lamborghini.
Ooh.
And I don't remember which one it was. I don't think it was the Grasser Racing one.
944 or Patsuska has got to drive through for track limits. Well, not very early on in the race, to be fair. 25 minutes into this race. I'd just like to point out, Piscina, we saw them come out of pit lane. Looked like they were fighting with other cars. They are blue flagged to those cars because they've done 2 pit stops. They're a pit stop ahead, if you like, but behind on a lot of time. So it's
tricky.
Yes, it's a different strategy. Completely compared to everyone else. It is not one I would do, and not one a lot of drivers would do. Definitely not advised to do so when you got 2 pit stops to do it in, because you're going to have more tyre wear compared to everyone else. By the end of the race, everyone's going to be on a lot fresher tyres, so it is different. But we just have to see how it goes. Might work for them, might not. But they will be blue flagged, and they will once cars behind are within half a second to 3/10 or so, they will need to sort of let them through within a sector, else they can be reported for blue flag infringement. So just have to keep an eye on Patina's position throughout the rest of this race. But yeah, well, I'd just like to point out the top 3, as you read my mind. Vanbrugh is in 3rd place after that pit stop.
Yeah.
That early pit stop he did, Conway's taken that by 5.1 seconds. Phil Roberts is only behind by a second on Vanbrugh. Redford is 7.1 to Roberts, and then Hill is almost half a second to Redford. So there's a few fights going to be happening, but Flanders has got 3.2 second gap to Conway, the 3-time Night Owl champion. So there he is in the background in his throwback livery. And here comes the drive-through for Patsuska in the 944 Lamborghini. Unfortunately, got there, but it's not as worse as we've seen in the race so far. But yeah, it's tricky. Oh, we've got a crash into turn 4, Jesse Lee. Quite a big one as well.
We sure do. It's the 972 and the 232.
Oh, both the Astons, Tom
involved.
Roberts. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Fox was catching up to the back of Roberts, and that is the end result of that. That's the 3rd or 4th time we've seen that tonight. Unusual, realistically, here. We don't normally see rear enders quite like that here. There's many opportunities. Normally it's a car trying to slide by on the inside that sort of shoulder checks the outside car is what you get a lot of here. Tonight, quite the opposite of that. You're seeing a lot of rear end fender benders going on out there. Les Stevenson bringing his Porsche down the pit lane, and this will, in theory anyway, complete his 2nd mandatory stop. What I was going to say was, prior to Les Stevenson stopping, Timothy Flamger leads Harry Conway and Julian Vanbrugh. The early stop has not worked out for Julian in the slightest. They've gone from the lead to 2nd and now down to 3rd. It was a slow stop for Julian, a 1-minute 25.2 down pit lane. Harry Conway managed a 1-minute 21.7, so I don't really have to do the math for you there. You know, that's just about 4 seconds quicker, isn't it? Timothy Flamger has erased his pit stop. I can confirm he has done one of his 2 mandatory stops. It was a legal stop, but he somehow erased it on my timing and scoring board. I have no idea how he's done that, but I can imagine it was quicker than a 1:21 because of the gap he ended up having on Conway. So I'm going to say at least a 1:20 for Timothy Flamger. Timothy, if you can hear me, give me my deltas back. I don't know how you've stolen them, but you certainly have on tonight's occasion.
There's a few drivers that are missing someone here that I have noticed, but there's only 4 drivers, Jesse. I'm looking at the fastest laps for the drivers. Obviously, Flamger takes it with a 33.382. Closest is Vanbrugh with a 33.605. Now, I see Harry Conway's in the 33.7. Phil Roberts is just in the 33.7 as well. So 4 cars, the top 4, in the 33. So Phil Roberts is catching Vanbrugh actually 6/10 behind. And that 33.7 was his fastest last lap. So he is doing some speediness in that McLaren, but Lamborghini, Ferrari, McLaren is top 4. Obviously, top 5 is there as well, but being chased, as we see now, by Raphael Huell in the 21 Porsche. Here is Masatoshi Kaneko to do their second and final stop in another Porsche. But, oh, here we go, the Iron Lynx Porsche chasing down Redford's lovely Mike Redford not sheep racing car.
Well, for me, Raphael Huell has the pace here. He's just got to be smart about how he tries the overtake, a little bit more grip maybe. Maybe Mike Redford's not going 100% right now, trying to make a fuel number. That's also possible. It's hard to tell mid-race what games the drivers are playing. Everybody has their own strategy, and it does vary just a little bit for the drivers in certain cases. This is the front splitter of Raphael Huell's car. You can't see it, it's right below you, it's dark anyway, but some of these corners, Huell is going to get properly tucked up behind the Mike Racing car, and he's done that a couple of times. He's driven right up to the back of him, but on the straights, I'm afraid that Huell gets left just a little bit, as you can clearly see here on this straightaway. Just no match for the McLaren there, but the second they get to the braking zone, look what happens here, and Redford even misses that corner just a little bit, and that further helps Huell catch back up. This is really realistically the only battle on the track. I'm waiting to see if Pastuska makes it cleanly off pit lane. They have. So Les Stevenson and Masatoshi Kaneko have done their mandatory stops, and I believe the 944 has done them as well. Yes, so most of the cars at the back of this grid have already done both their stops. That's not the usual strategy. Most of the cars we suspect will be in right around with 20 minutes to go in this race. So for right now, it's all to play for. Raphael Huell would love to get this top 5 on the racetrack here, and he might smell blood in the water with an ailing Mike Redford. Oh my goodness!
Yeah. He
almost
sure
into
might.
the wall there.
I thought he did hit the wall then.
Did he?
That was not too sure,
Well,
Jesse. It was very, very close.
I'll tell you what, the replay will not lie. Pay attention to the yellow Porsche. Second in line here. He's going to swing to the wall. Did he get it? No, but he got really close. That's as close
NASCAR
as you like.
Close.
Yes,
that's
it
what that
is. George Barr.
Yep.
We just, why are we on the same page tonight? What is going on? George Barr pits out of the lead in the silver class, and this will be his second and final stop. Just got to do this cleanly for BDG. Doesn't need anything fancy here. They're clearly the quicker car in the class. Tom Roberts will take the lead in the class for the time being. Roberts Motorsports. We've got 2 Roberts in the race tonight. Both of them Welsh. Both of them devilishly handsome.
Both of them doing very well in their respective classes. So
indeed, very
speedy indeed. Yeah, George Barr he's just coming out of pit lane now. Jordan Bubbins is in for 65.
Raphael Huell.
Scary.
just about hangs on to that 992 GT3 Porsche. That was almost a huge moment there, and he would have slid right into Mike Redford, the guy he's racing, for that spot. That would have been no good, but he saves it. He's able to get it back under control, and we reset to 0, and we'll go at it again. Huell's going to have to make up those tenths of a second he lost, but other than that, no harm, no foul. Olivier Kierton down to the pit lane for their second stop. A lot of earlier pitters here. I expected them a few minutes later, maybe a lap or two more, but they've not. They've come in early. Is this situational based on where they're running, or might this have been the strategy all along for these cars?
I would think it's situational with where they are and what is happening in front and how close they are to another driver. That's all I can think of. I'm not too sure, Jesse, because we are all over the place tonight. There are so many cars to try and keep an eye on. As Curtin does do his pit stop, Bubbins has just done his pit stop as well. Well, it says he's done them, but he's not driving. Unless he's gone to the toilet again, Jesse, because he did that last race. There he goes. In his Ferrari. So a bit of a slow stop from Bubbins there. Just have to wait and see what it says on exit. Dissy, the 962 was spun around again before the back straight. That car driver is not having the time of their life in this race tonight, unfortunately.
Has had a very rough one. This is an incident involving themselves and the 777 car.
Oh, that's why.
Another rear-ending accident. That was Joe Dauber that time. Keep in mind, Lee Kettle was on a different lap there to Joe Dauber. Joe Dauber, of course, inside the top 10. Lee Kettle in 26. So that was a tough one, especially involving a lap car. But another rear-ender. Very strange things going on. And, well, I can't tell you if Jordan Bubbins has visited the facilities, but what I can tell you is that he may as well have done. It was a 256 down pit lane, so I'm willing to believe that he probably did.
For someone who's, oh, here we go, fight for provisional first with a pro driver behind them as well. 3 cars fighting for positions, 2 for points and 1 just for a bit of fun. Bubbins, same with Bibby, are brand new to Ace Racing and Night Owl as a whole. So to do an hour-long race, you think is easy, an easy thing to do, and you know you don't need to go to the toilet. But if you never do, Foxy a little bit slowly on the rear end there. But if you've never done anything like that or long since, because normally when you pick up a racing game, it's normally an arcade racer. You play 10 minutes and go, oh, I need to go for the Wii. You can pause it. When you're racing like this, you cannot pause. As we see Ralph Huell come down pit lane in the 21 for his final stop of the race. There's about time, 22 minutes left to go. But yeah, it's...
Do you know what that is? That's a driver saying, okay, I've made a couple of attempts on Redford. It's not come off. The car's sliding around. It's better for me to come in slightly early, make an adjustment if I need to, put new tires on it if that's something that has been considered, and go back out there and hopefully get the overlap and not, or get the undercut and not have to physically overtake them. That's what I think what he's thinking right here. And even if he doesn't, he at least gets out from behind him for a lap or 2, and maybe you can make some magic happen here. Kaiju Racing's Phil Roberts has caught Julian Vanbrugh for 3rd place. The 87 who qualified P2 took the lead almost immediately and looked like they were going to be the one in control of the race. It hasn't quite amassed to that yet, as Vanbrugh now very clearly under fire here for P number 3. And this is all on the even keel. Raphael Huell we saw coming into the pit lane. He'll be on his way out soon. Tim Ireland has pitted out of 4th place in that class in silver. Now drivers are deciding it's time to come in, but not these drivers, not right now.
Oh, Phil and Vanbrugh Phil going in and Vanbrugh going out on the exit there. Just like to mention, Vanbrugh is on older tyres by 4 laps over Phil, pitted on lap 9. Phil and Redford were that 13th, both of them. So Redford's not in this battle, but I thought I mentioned Redford there. They're both McLarens. They're all McLarens 36th. Just noticed that. It's pretty funny. Malcolm is in from 7th place to do their final pit stop. But yeah, so but maybe because Vanbrugh pitted so early, we were so surprised, but also understood from their position. You know, fighting Flamga, didn't want to fight too much, but maybe pitted too early. Obviously, we don't know when Flamga pitted apparently because our tool says
he's nicked it, is what he's done.
He's
nicked it. I will be contacting the authorities, Mr. Flander. I have no idea why some of the pit stop timers did not populate. We're joking with Timothy, by the way, but I have no idea why some of the deltas just did not occur at the time. But Flander still holds a 3.2 second lead on Harry Conway. No real movement there. Conway is pacing Flamger, but Mr. Flamger is keeping him at arm's length. It is a flurry of activity on pit lane this time through. Matthew Malcolm for Malk Racing down the pit lane. Garfox is down at pit lane as well. Benzel down the lane. Kevin Boss pits out of third and silver. You've noticed Tim Ireland's got to stop and go. Ash Bibby's down pit lane for the second and final time. He's presenting Night Owl, and he's presenting his final pit stop of the day. No idea why he doesn't have a nation's flag there as well. Callum Kerrigan pitting as well. Those are the cycle this time. And look at this. Harry Conway has brought the Triple R number 28 down pit lane. The three-time Night Owl champ has said enough is enough. And so has pro race winner Phil Roberts. He's down pit lane for Kaiju. Tyler Hobson this time is down pit lane in the TJH racing car with an anime on the... That's not anime. That's magic. That's a dark magician on there. What am I saying? Wait, no, that's Yu-Gi-Oh! I've just realized. Yeah. I do apologize for people that play... That's Yu-Gi-Oh, right? I'm not losing.
Yeah, it's Dark Magician from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I knew that all along. I do apologize to both trading card game communities on that egregious error. Roman Frawler also down the pit lane for EMR that time by, and finally Tom Roberts has come down this time and surrenders the lead in silver. A couple of cars still yet to complete their second and final stop, including your leader, Timothy Flamger, who is in right now for Alpha Sim Sport. I love it when it lines up like that.
And the 87 of Vanbrugh comes down. Before you even say anything, Jesse, they are coming into pit lane.
It sure is.
Will Redford join these drivers? I don't think he's not. He's going to take a lap in the lead. Fair enough. Tim Ireland has stopped to do his stop and go 30 for excessive speed in the pit lane. Not sure how he did that. I'm guessing on entry.
So easy to miss that button, especially in the dark. And I know that you may be in a fully lit room, which I don't know anybody that would drive a night race in a fully lit room. That sounds like an extra handicap to me with the back glare and all that. But in a dark race, it just because there's less light, if you don't have a wheel that lights up, it can be even more difficult. And you add to the fact that a lot of these drivers will wear some sort of gloves. It's easy to fumble around and miss it. And also, too, the ever-present second gear going for the limiter does not work in the vast majority of cars. Timothy Flamger and Vanbrugh, as we said. Alan Asprey has come down the pit lane as well. Ted, what have you seen?
Harry Conway. Wait, am I? No, I was looking at a different. You were showing a different car. I thought Conway got ahead of Flamger, but there is Conway, and Flamger is the blue Lamborghini in front. I thought Harry got a massive jump then. I don't know what car you were looking at, but I was did not pay too much attention.
Alan Asprey, I believe.
I got too
Mark Reinhardt for TSS coming into the pit lane. Callum Kerrigan into the pit lane as well. And that leaves us with no drivers left to do their pit stops, as far as I know, outside of Redford and Dauber, one of which, the Mike NS racing car, is still out there turning laps, has not come in. And we'll see if Joe comes in. He's thinking about it, and he isn't. He's staying
They're
out there
going
as
long.
well.
This is longer than I would expect anyone to really stay out. Tim Ireland lets through Dolbercine as they are back marker car, but very interesting. Well, Jordan Daly is still going around. He's gone from 28th to 26th place. Obviously, Lee Kettle's had a few problems. And I think he's going to get up to 25th. I think he maybe 25th. I think he's a lap down on Kerrigan, so maybe not. But yeah, he had some pedal issues earlier on. But I know a place, Jesse, where you can get some new pedals very easily.
Yeah, you sure can. There's a couple of places I would recommend. Fanatec, they're a leader in direct drive sim racing hardware. They also make fantastic load cell pedals as well. You can pick those up at fanatec.com. Browse their bundles and deals right now by using our link in the description. Or if you're looking for a more broader spectrum, you can check out digitalmotorsport.com. All the top equipment from all the top brands. Have your pick of the lot of them at digitalmotorsport.com. And while you're there, be sure to check out their bespoke sim rig builder. Build the sim rig of your dreams or your budget at digitalmotorsport.com. Do you think they've noticed that we're doing the placement, or do you think it's so smooth they haven't noticed they've been advertised to?
I don't think they noticed. But yeah, here's the fight for first in silver class. You got Les leading the race. Joined us
Had a
mid-season
really
for
quick stop.
round 4. Yeah, he's doing very well. George Barr following, who's fighting well for the championship lead. He is blowing second place away. I'll give you an update on those standings now. George Barr is over in first place with 123 points over the top of Piscina with 83, whereas Piscina in this race down in 18th place, 6th in the silver class. Not very good race from them today. Tim Ireland is in the third with 72. He's quite far back, especially with the 30-second penalty he got today. Kevin Boss with a drive-through penalty, and Wenzel, the 41 pro driver, they're just going a bit deep on the silver car of Boss. So Kaneko is in 4th place at the moment, and they're going to get some good points sitting in 3rd place today. Les Stevenson obviously joins us with, he's got no points, so he's going to gain quite a bit of points if he finishes where he is now. Look at this fight going on. Not sure who that's Jordan Bubbins in the Ferrari. He needs to just let these cars go, being a back marker.
It's a dangerous situation for everybody. You got a car with a penalty, a car that's on a different lap, and a car with nothing to lose here. Bubbins is going to get out of the way here. That's probably quite wise, because these two have had contact prior to this, and now it's looking quite grim for Kevin Boss, who's going to have to come in. He didn't surrender that spot. I think Boss making a point that, yeah, I've got the pace, I've got the penalty as well, but that's not the point. I can outrace you, and have done on this occasion, as they all sorted out very peacefully indeed. And finally, Mike Redford has brought the number 95 McLaren to the attention of his team for the final time. This will complete the cycle. It's been a decent race for Mike Redford. He just needs enough speed here exiting the pit lane, and he should be all fine. George Barr continuing to hound the back of Joe Dauber now, because Les Stevenson has put the 777 in between himself and his nearest rival in the silver class. Les Stevenson leading in silver after the second pit stop. He was about 1.5 to 2 seconds quicker, was Les, on and off of pit lane versus the BDG driver George Barr. That's the difference in the race. That's why Les Stevenson leads over Barr right now. Masatoshi Kaneko, for all the early drama Masatoshi has had, the Japanese driver is sitting pretty in 3rd place. What a drive from the man in the 740.
Yeah, the Japanese driver is doing bits. Yes, Japanese driver in mainly a championship aimed at the Americans. You, Jesse Lee,
that's
being an
North
American,
and South America, by the way.
Yep.
Everyone, when you say America, they think the USA, but there's a bunch of countries over here. All right. And one of the interesting side effects of that, having a championship so late in the evening on Saturday, is that you still get the night owl, the European crowd, but you also get the early morning Asia and Oceania crowd. We've had Australian drivers, Kiwi drivers, Japanese drivers as well. It's quite incredible, you know, that they start their day with a little bit of racing. And, I mean, if I had to pick between toast and a race, I'd probably pick the race as well.
Well, I've never seen Kaneko type or anything in our Discord chat or even in the YouTube chats, but it's nice that they are here. They are racing. Maybe they don't speak English. Maybe they that's not their second language they've learned, and maybe it's they just do Japanese. But it's very nice
maybe
for them to drive.
Maybe they're driving do the talking.
Yeah, but they understand all the rules. They understand all the pit stops, and it's just nice to see a different country coming, because we don't see many Japanese drivers come in. I think we've had a few teams in the World Tour join us, so it's it's RCI Racing Club International.
We have a driver from Taipei or Chinese Taipei, depending on your persuasion of that. But we have had a couple of those in the past as well, and I don't know if they still participate actively, but I've seen that, and there are a couple of other Japanese drivers we've seen, but from the Oceania region, it is largely Australia, New Zealand, but you'd love to see it. I'm pretty sure of the 6 habited continents. Yes, I know there's people that stay in the research facilities in Antarctica, but the likelihood of them having a sim rig is astronomically low, correct? But of the other 6 continents, I'm quite sure we have drivers represented from all of them most of the time. We don't have any driver from Africa, as far as I know, in this race, particularly tonight. But in general, we have a significant South African following.
If you guys at home have noticed, the 280 is in the pit lane, has been there for many laps now. Callum Kerrigan, Jesse, I think has retired the car. With 1 pit stop to go. This car's been sat here for a very long time, and we have lost a car. There's 27 cars. I don't know who's gone. I'm gonna do some digging.
I was gonna say I've completely lost the plot there. Here's a replay with Ash Bibby. Exactly what happened here. Oh no! I think Ash Bibby gets turned into the wall. We saw that happen. That same exact thing, I believe, to Jake Boswell in Monday Champ a few weeks ago. We'll see if we can't see that again from the helicopter. See exactly what happens here, I think. Oh yeah, just gets rear-ended hard into the wall. Huge damage for the 69. That's not the retirement, folks. Bibby's still out there. Who is?
Patuska, the 944 Pro Lamborghini car. AGS event.
Okay.
Yeah, they were down in 25th. Trying to find. They got up to 21st. I do apologize. I think it was just a disconnect from. Oh yeah, they. I just found where they disconnected and the car was upside down in the floor. So internet troubles.
That'll do it. Yep, that definitely explains that. Still with 27 of the 28, and I just want to talk about Joe Dauber. Joe Dauber's in an unenvious position currently as the 6 flashes through of Roman Frawler. Now Frawler has made themselves a part of this. Roman going very wide off of the racetrack. That's going to allow Joe Dauber through and George Barr through. But what I was talking about with Joe, this is unenviable because they're in between the lead for the silver battle, or they're the stake between the silver battle. Les Stevenson, that's the car in front, and you've got the McLaren behind. That's George Barr. Joe Dauber is trying to make the move on Les and has come quite close a couple of times, but has been unable to do so. Les drives off the racetrack there. That's going to allow Joe Dauber to get down to the inside. Does Les just let him have it? Yes, he does. Doesn't want to get stuck side by side and allow George Barr any sort of avenue to make the pass. So that's been done and dusted. Dauber is able to get it done. Doesn't even have to make a move of his own. It's afforded to him. by Les Stevenson. So that brings Les Stevenson and George Barr together again. The battle for the win for silver well and truly on. If you're George Barr, who's playing with the championship lead currently, you have to wonder how much this win will mean to him, how much he's willing to risk to get that done. Because if you have a decent-sized lead like George does, do you really have to go out there and win this race and put yourself in a compromised position to do so? You would have to imagine, with less than 6 minutes to go, nearly 5 minutes to go in this race, Les is going to be defending as if his life depends on it. Several penalties coming out of the pit lane and around the track. Vinzel, the 41, has a drive-through penalty. I can only imagine that for track limits. The 69 of Ash Bibby has a stop-and-go 30. I believe that was speeding in the pit lane, and it's all kicking off again.
Did you just say Hobson as well, Daly? Daly. I'm thinking about Daly at the minute. He's just coming to the pit lane. I think he's going to do a Daly strat. I'll explain that in a second. Jesse! Oh, I can't believe I've got your name wrong. Hobson drive-through as well with track limits.
Hobson also with a drive-through penalty, and it's turning into one of those nights. It's something we usually talk about when we come to Misano. We've had so much going on, we haven't had time to have any real train of thought on the matter, but the reality is Misano is a track where track limits are, I wouldn't say they're tight necessarily, but it's quite easy because of the flat nature of the track and the speed and the sweeping nature of the corners to go off and get track limit warnings here. Got to be very careful about that. We see our fair share here, including with Hobson. Now, this is the interesting thing for Olivier Kierton. They're racing Hobson. Hobson, I don't know, because you get 3 laps to come in and serve your drive-through penalty, lest you get disqualified, unless there's not 3 laps left in the race, and then in which case you can just take it as a time penalty when you cross the line. That's going to be quite close with Hobson on if there are 3 laps left. I don't think there will be, based on where he got it and when he crossed the line, so I think he will have to eventually yield to the Kraken Engineering 111 of Olivier Kierton, but right now certainly not yielding anything for that Ferrari.
Yeah, I think it's just over half a lap out. Wenzel just come back out of pit lane. I was about to say they've retired the car, but they stopped in pit lane with the drive-through penalty. Very confusing for me. Ash Bibby does come out of pit lane. Jordan Daly pits now. Jordan Daly strat. I was waiting for him to leave the pit lane so we see the pit time at 1 minute 23. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen this before. Jesse might know what I'm on about.
This looks familiar, this strategy.
So, Daly's done this a few times, and it's pretty funny, but not for the people who have the fastest lap, which I think is Flamger still. Now, Daly won't get any points for this race because he's not within the 80% of the leader laps, which is Flamger with 35. Daly's on 31. I think he's just out, if I'm right. But he's going to try and take the fastest lap away, so that's going to take points off Flamger, because Daly's not really in any championship position for points at this moment in time. As we see a replay from Hobson on, that is Bubbins. I don't know. Bubbins is just sort of trying to get around the corner. He's on the outside. Hobson just comes up into them. Yeah, that's very confusing indeed. But yeah, Daly's going to try and take those points away, which is we've seen before, and he has done it before. I think I could be wrong. I think it was the Flamber as well. I think he took the I think it's 2 points. Let me have a quick check. It's 2 points for the fastest lap, so I think he's going to try and take those 2 points away. As they are.
I love how you had to check your rules for your championship.
Well, we used to do top 30, and I've changed it to top 20, so I'm still learning what points we're in on, Jesse, as it has made the standings pretty tight this season with the 3 rounds we've had, but it is the 5 to second still.
1 minute left to go. This is the battle. The battle for silver honors the top step on the line. Stevenson has it. Barr wants it, but at what cost? Will Barr be willing to take a P2 here tonight and a massive championship lead, or will Les Stevenson win this race and claw their way into the conversation? We'll see. Not Olivier Carrington, I do apologize. Callum Kerrigan absolutely confirming that they retired the car based on their inability to take Sector 1. They were becoming frustrated and irritated with the race car. They've elected to semi-retire it. And by that I mean that they're still in the pit lane. They haven't actually retired the car, but they are set in pit lane, and they will take no further part, that's for sure. So this is the battle. Nothing going on up front here at all, as the timing and scoring tells me that the time has expired. And for Timothy Flamger and Alpha Sim Sport, it was a day where they had to have patience and perseverance, and they've done it for Alpha Sim Sport. He's won the race from the pole position, but in the most extraordinary of ways. Good pit stops, good racecraft, and it's got the American the win.
Harry Conway takes home second place, the three-time Night Owl now champion.
There you go.
So I had to do it tonight. He's very well done indeed. Vanbrugh taking home a nice third place today. Phil Roberts with the fourth place. Look at that man go. Raphael Huell in the Porsche 21, showing us that Porsche is still strong in some aspects. Taking home a fifth place. Redford with a nice sixth place. Well done to you, sir. Jordan Daly's coming across a bit smashy. I think he didn't get the fastest lap. Oliver Curtin takes home seventh place. That distracted me too much. He should have done. He got drive through for track limits. That's why.
Oh, let's go! And for the second race in a row, I didn't. Commentators curse. Matthew Malcolm. Let's go. I'll take that. I take payment in form of PayPal on that one, Mr. Malcolm. Just joking, of course. Joe Dauber in ninth place, and this is the battle, and it was not the battle that I thought maybe Barr would get in there. He did not. He minded his manners, and a smart driver and potentially a champion in the making is George Barr. But the day belongs to Les Stevenson in the silver class, who wins it today on a car that doesn't have a mustache. If you watch on Monday, you'll get that joke and that reference. But today, it's the Porsche winning in silver over George Barr. An excellently ran race by both of them, and the comeback drive for the Japanese driver, Masatoshi Kaneko, for a top 3 finish. The results soon to be confirmed on your screen. As always, pending post-race penalties.
Yeah, sure. Callum Kerrigan saying, I'm now race engineering for the 46. Well, that certainly worked for Les Stevenson, didn't it, today? What a drive by them. So for 6/10 of a gap, so a very nice race there. There we go. Flamger with the fastest lap. And I think he got the pole position as well in the qualifying. So he's got all the points today. Unfortunate for John Daly, though. Down on the bottom there. Coming across the line in typical Daly fashion. But yeah, it's very good job from all the drivers today. Like you say, Masatoshi Kaneko, what a nice third place in the silver category there. We did have two retirements. One turned into basically a crew chief. Callum Kerrigan doing a bit
take
of
off the helmet,
work.
put on the headset. You know.
Yeah.
Some weekends.
Still a part of the race, so that is at least something. But yeah, there you go. There's your silver. Stevenson, Barr, and Kaneko for top 3. Fox, Roberts, Christina, Boss, Island, Bibby, Hittle, and Bubbins. Look at that man go. Look at him come back. He got a little bit shouted at by 2 people I will not name, but he has joined us back.
He definitely did. He got lit up, and I gotta say, I've never heard Ash that cross with somebody. It was a fatherly cross. You know what I mean? And I also heard through the grapevine that Daly also had a go at Mr. Bubbins as well. He showed up tonight again, not last in tonight's race. Well, what an event it was. It started out quite argy-bargy, some side-by-side, but the majority fender benders And all of that led into an interesting finish in the silver class. Timothy Flamger persevered and got another dub. Excellently done, excellently raced by, I would say, all the podium finishers here tonight did a fantastic job of managing the race. Julian Vanber's probably going to be wondering what happened to the car. I don't think that was on Julian. I think that was more to do with how the car was set up. It just didn't seem to have quite some of the grip, but still somehow manages to get a podium out of all that. Brilliant stuff indeed. And what a night out race it was. Ted Edwards, well, we're not done with the Ash Bibby Presents Night Owl Season 16. We've got more racing to do. Where are we going?
We are going in 2 weeks' time to Suzuka for round 5. It's going to be an hour and a half race as tradition with the Night Owl, and it will be a repeat of Season 1's final, which I think ended in the dark as well. So look forward to that in 2 weeks' time, as we have, I think, the final of the World Tour next weekend on the 9th for a 6-hour round. I think is it Watkins Glen?
You tell me. Oh, you talked about the 6-hour. That's right. Next weekend.
The 6-hour.
Next Saturday, the conclusion of the 2023 RCI World Tour, the 6 hours of the Glen. 6 hours around that track is going to feel like it's at least 12. It is a very fast racetrack. It's a fun racetrack, and there's usually a lot of good racing there side by side and all of that. So that coming up next Saturday. We'll be live here on RCI TV on all the appropriate channels for that one.
Well, we're not finished. We have 2 interviews. I have one with John Daly, but we'll interview him in a second. We're going to interview the winner of the silver class, Les Stevenson. How are you doing, dude? How was the race for you joining us mid-season?
Can I just say, for a 40-year-old, I'm absolutely knackered. I'm literally sweating. I'm in my man cave, as you guys have heard before. It's currently 11 degrees. My toes are freezing, but my head is literally dripping. What a race.
Look at the steam coming off that man.
It's my room is currently steamed up, but no, what a race. What a car, what a beast of a car. First time I've ever driven that Porsche or Porsche, and I really enjoyed that. I was pleasantly surprised with the pace, and what a battle that was with Mr. Barr. It's a really good result. Thanks.
Did you expect to be fighting where you was today? Obviously, George Barr leading the Silver Championship by quite a way, especially after the race he had today. Obviously, you took away some of those points. Did you expect to be there at all, or did you expect to be lower down?
Absolutely not. No, I did my pre-qualifying, like everyone else had to do, and I was already thinking this car is hard to tame. I don't know how I'm going to be able to race around the lovely track of Misano, which is not one of my best tracks, I must say. It was just difficult trying to get some sort of setup that was going to work. But I worked with it, managed to pinch some ideas off some others, and finally got a rhythm going. And I got stuck behind one of the pro guys. I can't remember the surname, but it really hindered my pace. So I decided to pit early for that second stop, which got me in clean air. Unfortunately, I had to let the leaders through, which I didn't really anticipate. Not at that stage of the race, anyway. But anyway, once they got past, I was able to sort of get back in a rhythm. And unfortunately for me, the same chap came back out the pits after their second stop right in front of me. So I then had to battle them for the last 20 minutes or so. But no, I didn't expect to be there, is the answer to your question, Ted. Sorry it took so long to answer that one.
That's right, dude. You deserve the win as much as anyone. But yeah, so first time in the Porsche, how did you feel with the car? Was it something you liked? And do you regret not starting from round 1 of Night Out?
Of course I regret it. Yeah, I just it's one of those championships that I've always wanted to do. Thankfully, my wife's getting a bit older now, and she likes to go to bed a bit earlier. So Saturday nights are becoming more and more available, Ted. So you never know, I might be able to participate a bit more. But no, Night Owl has always been one of those ones I've always tried to get involved with, but unfortunately, one thing or another, I haven't been
Did
able to
you
do that. But
come on this program and say that about your wife?
she's not listening. She's asleep. It's fine. It's fine.
Well,
It's
I'm
not
saying out
recorded.
this one.
It's not recorded, is it? So we're fine. We're fine. But no, it's yeah, no. It's always, like I said, it's always been one of those championships, and it's been going on for such a long time now. You know, the likes of Jordan Daly and Harry Conway and Flamger and guys like that. You know, the really quick guys. You know, I see them. You know, weekend out. You know, going in the night out, and it just looks a lot of fun. So I decided to, you know, get part of it this time when I was available. So yeah, we had a go, and thankfully for me, I've had a great result.
Yes, you have. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, Les, and well done on your win, taking a few points away from George. Which, looking at the standings, I have put up now, doesn't really affect him much, but very well done indeed. But
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to move on to our winner in the pro category. Comes out of nowhere, Timothy Flamger. How was that race for you tonight? And very well done on the win.
Oh, thanks. That race was a blast. Misano is usually fun because it's such close racing and you can pretty much attack at every corner. So I had tons of fun at the beginning with Julian, and then it all just kind of worked out. Cruised to the end, and pretty happy with this one.
What did you think with Vanbrugh pitting so early? Obviously, we expected you to be fighting for quite a while. You didn't seem like you were slowing down. Well, I lie. You were slowing down a bit. Harry Conway was catching here and there, but for us, it was a little bit weird that Vanbrugh pitted so early. What did you think about that, and what was your reaction to it with your pit stops?
Oh, I think Julian was dying on tires. The pace we were doing at the beginning was pretty fast, and I had the luxury of just cruising behind him in the draft, waiting for him to make a mistake. But towards the end of that first stint, he started drifting in a lot of corners, so I was able to get by him, and I saw him struggling behind. So I'm pretty sure he just cooked the tires at some point.
So what do you think about temps? Obviously, I don't know if you was with us for season 1, but they were 7 degrees on ambient and track. What did you think about them being a little bit higher for obviously the tires we have nowadays, 3 years later? What do you think that were the tires okay? Did they react how you wanted them?
Oh yeah, I mean, I had the brake ducts so close, the brakes were going red at every corner, so that was keeping the tires warm, and I actually didn't get any graining. They worked pretty well. There was definitely a drop off after a half an hour, but I mean, it was fine.
Well, I'll write that down in my notes. Cold temps don't matter anymore. So, well, yeah, very well done. Do you have any questions, Jesse, for our race winner?
How do you keep doing it, Mr. Flamger, is my question to you. I mean, just week in and week out, you're so consistent, almost Iceman status, really. I mean, you battle, it was very fair, and in the end, you end up with another win. How do you keep doing it?
Oh, you're forgetting last week. I had no pace last week, so I got like what, 8th in that one, so that's not bad. But I don't know. I've just been doing this for so long, like 20 years, that it's second nature to just hop in and drive.
20 years. That's a long
Wow.
time.
I gotta say, it is brilliant to what he's being modest. Yeah, he finished 8th in at the Nürburgring, but he won Kyalami, he won Hungaroring, and it's just, you are cementing yourself as, I mean, you already have cemented yourself as a legitimate challenger to this championship. We came in, we talked a lot about Daly and Conway, and now it's Daly, Conway, and Flamger. One race left to go at Suzuka. Do you think you can close this one out?
I would hope so. The Lambo's super good at Suzuka. It's my favorite track, and it looks like Jordan lost a bunch of points this week. So shame for that, but I'll take the extra cushion.
Back to you, Tim.
Fighting words from Flamger. Well, thank you for coming and speaking with us, and just have to see what in 2 weeks' time what Suzuka brings for you, and obviously for Jordan Daly, as the points have now switched around a little. We might see them at the end of the stream, or we might. Oh, here we go. There you go. They are not the one, unfortunately, but they were before the end of this round. But thank you for coming to speak with us, Flamger, and just to see what happens in 2 weeks' time.
Yep. See you next week. Oh, we're not racing next week. 2 weeks, huh?
2 weeks it is, yes. Got a break for the World Tour.
Alrighty.
Well, we have one more person to interview. Jordan Daly. Very unfortunate with your pedals tonight. In the qualifying, we're very, very weird to see you a whole second off of the top runners. And obviously, at the start of the race, we thought you got taken out or there was a contact, but you pulled to the side of the road, out of the way of everyone else. And obviously, you sent me a little note, little DM, and about your pedals. Obviously, that's gonna set you back for the points. How are you feeling going into the last round?
It's one of them now. Pretty good, to be fair. I think looking at the points, Flamger would have to have a really bad race. I need at least 35 points over him coming into the next race. I don't know if that's possible. I mean, I'm going to try. I'm going to give it everything. But it's one of them. It were unfortunate. I don't know why I didn't notice in quali. I just tried plodding on with quali, and I kept saying to Harry, I'm like, I'm so slow. I don't know what's wrong. And it weren't until I was racing. One of the Porsche fuel were catching up to me on the straight, like not just a little bit catching up, a lot. And I was like, yeah, something is definitely wrong. Noticed they're on 90% throttle. I had to pull it over, but after a quick reset, everything seemed to work. So it happened somewhere at the start of qualifying. Don't know why. Never had anything like that before. But yeah, pretty good. Like I say, it's probably put me out of contention for the champ. But anything can happen. It's an hour and a half, and yeah, I've just got to see what it brings me. Hopefully, I can still pull something out of it.
Yeah, it's a shame. I knew you were having a little bit of trouble with the car, and obviously you said it was good in practice, but it didn't. It twigged to me in my head that you could have some mechanical issues with your sim stuff. So very unfortunate, but at least you finished the race in daily style, coming across the line with your penalty in the barrier. But did you try and go for the fastest lap and take some points away from Flamger tonight?
So the only opportunity I thought I really had for it were the first time back into the server, because obviously I could come out of the pits with lower fuel and then still do both of my pit stops. But I messed up a few times. I got a few warnings. Obviously by the end I got the drive through, but I got the warnings earlier on, and it really kind of put me off a bit. I did try. I was asking Harry what kind of lap times he's seen up there, but I think I was still quite a little bit off. I went for it right at the end where I got my drive through. So obviously at that point I had to give up. Yeah, I did give it a shot at one point. It's one of them though. You know, it happens. There's always, well, not next week as I would usually say, but in 2 weeks' time we can see how it goes. Like if I can really get everything out of it, it could be close. We'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Flamger having the 8th place at NURBS. You having the 15th. You did get points today. Not many, but it's still enough.
Yeah.
Say it's still enough. It's still some points rather than none. I thought you weren't going to get any, but
keep me in. Yeah, it keeps me in the way.
Sure does. Well, I think we do have some standings to have a quick look at. If they are the up-to-date ones from our lovely Jessie Lee. But yeah, it's just one of those sort of races where it's just tricky. There you go. Timothy Flamger now leads after the 4th round, 144 points to Daly's 110. That's a massive gap. So you're going to have to definitely pull something out of that Ferrari's box if you like. It's going to be difficult, but
I have to bring the Morses out.
Yeah, sure will. But there's Harry Conway still fighting with Ralph Hill with 3-point difference. And we've got 8-point difference from Vanbrugh to Redford. That's going to be close as well. It's going to be close up and down the field in this pro field. So it's going to be a fun race. It's going to be a stressful one for you daily. Obviously, we've used our 2 pit stops this week. It's going to be a totally different one for the final. Definitely going to be a pit stop. There has to be for an hour and a half. to make it all fair for all the drivers. There's your top 20, 41 to 40 on Asprey and Hobson. Malcolm and Plater 30 and 39, and you got Petuska, Reinhard 26 and 25, and Curtin on 18. Wenzel does get 7 points today, and everyone else is obviously signed out of championship. And then we'll see the silver ones, and it's got a big gap with George Parr. Obviously, it has some points taken away, 162 to 103 of Piscina. That is a 59-point gap. I don't think they will lose it in the next round, even if they don't turn up. They won the silver class of season 16. I believe. I don't think anyone can beat. I think the highest points is 45. See, Flamgood got fastest lap and pole position today with a win. So George Barr has won. I'm calling now. That is a massive thing for round 4 of 5. But there's Masatoshi Kaneko in third with 98, Island 88, Tom Roberts 2 points behind on 87, Kettle on 77, Bibby on 48, Les on 40 with the win today. Fox on 26, joint with Hutchins on 26 as well, top 10. As we go and have a look at the top 20, there's Boss with 18, Bubbins has got 10, Callum Kerrigan has 0, so he didn't finish the race today. Everyone else has signed out of the Silver Championship. But yeah, unlucky Daily, you got some catching up to do. I do wish you some good luck for the final race. Today was just one of those days where stuff fails, but you just fix it and you just sort of got to get over it. But it looks like I've got to do a season 17 now.
Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks for keep putting these seasons on. You know, obviously it's been going off for ages. Like, we love it. But yeah, no, thank you very much. See you in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much, Dee. Well, I've just got one of our partners to give a shout out to, AK Esports. We wouldn't be able to do this championships or any of the ACC championships we do without them. They just help us with our servers, and you can find out more at akesports.it. Also, Go Setups. We haven't mentioned them this stream, which we should have done with these cold weathers. They can help you out a ton. They've got safe and esports setups. With the wet ones that come with it, there is a subscription plan that you can get 30 setups a month, or you can just buy one set of tracks for a car, or you can buy a full bundle for a specific car. They have the whole GT4 setups as well. They've just finished off, and yeah, you can find out where they are in the description below. But what were your thoughts on the race, Jesse, if you have any?
Yeah, I thought it was good racing predominantly throughout the field. Obviously, there was some of the Misano-ness came out in a lot of the drivers. You lower the light level. Mentioned that quite early on, that the dark corners and some of the track conditions with the weather was going to cause some incidents. It did. Normal Misano track limits came into play a little bit as well. And beyond that, though, it was just some excellent racing in the night at Misano. 2 great stories in both classes as well, and we're going down to the wire here. It's still not done in the pro class, and as far back as Harry Conway still mathematically with a chance to win the championship, Flamger has to show up and run that final race, because if they don't, who knows what may happen. But beyond that, just some fantastic racing. We got to see a little bit of everything tonight, and in the end, isn't that really what you're hoping for?
Sure is. Well, we have still got some other championships still going on. Monday, Ginetta Season 2 finishes on Monday at Nürburgring for the final round. 5 is going to be an exciting one. I'm trying to win a championship in silver. Come on, watch me maybe end up in a wall. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But it has been an amazing season. It's been so fun just to drive a single car. It's all about you and the car. Maybe there'll be a bit of the setup. We have Wednesday round 5, 2 rounds left for that season 6 championship. You can do it as a duo, or you can do it as a single. It's 80-minute races. That's an hour and 20 minutes. It's a ton of fun. You can find out on our website as well. Obviously, the final of World Tour 2023 ends next Saturday, 9th with the 6 hours of Watkins Glen, you can just grab yourself 2-3 buddies and just come along and just do the final. Watkins Glen is an amazing, fun track to drive on. And also, we have some iRacing one-offs still coming up as well. December 7th, that is next Thursday, we have the Sebring Prototype Challenge. That is LMP3 and LMP2. I'm going to be in that with a load of other people. Got 11 signups at the minute. Come and join us. We're going to have a little bit of fun with these prototypes. They are good fun to drive and a lot more downforce than we are used to with the GT3s. And then the week after, on the 14th of December, we have Donington F3. That's the Formula 3 cars. They are some fun. We need some more signups for that. Come and join us. It's everyone has Donington Park. Everyone does a bit of F3 Formula racing. But apart from that, that's all we have up until Christmas. But we still got one more round of Night Owl to go in 2 weeks' time. I can't wait to see you there. And I don't think you can wait to see who wins the Pro Championship. Obviously, we know what happened with Silver so far. But anyone can take away that second place there, or third place. But I think until then, we've wrapped everything up. And we will see you 2 weeks' time.